Recently on my channel, I did a challenge where I reviewed an album every single day for 30 days straight. That means I was listening to an album, finding places to shoot, editing the TikToks and Reels, making a compilation video for the YouTube channel, putting it all together for you guys' enjoyment. So go check out that video. But I'm going to be making a tier list of all the albums I listened to on that challenge and ranking them. Okay, for the first album, we have Blonde by Frank Ocean. This is... Damn, I'm surprised. I do like this album, the self-introspectiveness, the storytelling, the, relationship advice, or not advice, relationship subject matter, and the sonics, production, really good. To me, it's just really slow at times. And while that is maybe the more memorable parts of the album for a lot of people, like White Ferrari, to me, those songs are like great for the first time listen, but after you listen to it a couple times, you're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna skip this part, I'm just gonna go to the next track, and you're kind of like, you don't really listen to the full album in its entirety like you did for the very first time. This is one of those albums, if you want to make somebody a fan of a specific artist, you show them this, but this isn't like their go-to, at least for me, but I could be wrong. But damn, I'm surprised for that one. Next we have Deftones, White Pony. This metal, like new era metal sound, it's not for me, but I understand why a lot of people like it. I see like how it's meant for a lot of people, especially fans of this style of music. It's definitely groundbreaking, but to me it's just not something I can listen to on a day-to-day. It's like very niche moments where I'm like, put on that Deftones White Pony album, and I like listening to albums in its entirety. Some genres obviously are more like track by track, kind of like trap music. But yeah, not this album. Next we have Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Do I have anything to like really add to this? This album is a classic. It's one of the best rock albums of all time. Space, rock, whatever category you want to put it in. Great lyricism, great production. It's just, to me, there's nothing wrong with this album. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect album, but it's like it accomplishes the job. It's perfected, and time again, anything new content-wise, Dark Side of the Moon, even the Roger Waters recent Redux version of it was good in my opinion. Then we have Daisy and the Maggots album. This is another one where it's potential to grow. There was a lot of subject matter I wasn't too familiar with, but there was subject matter that kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of things, like the when guys send creepy texts, or not creepy, but texts that are misunderstood and just kind of like off-putting, like, why didn't you invite me in the shower? I could have joined you kind of text. And obviously as a guy, you try to come off as smooth as possible, and sometimes some things sound corny and you shouldn't say it, and you should only reciprocate that energy, or kind of thing. And that album made me go, huh, it's interesting to see the other side point of view. Obviously we are aware of it, but we never get to hear them vocally say it with no holding back. So that's one thing I liked about this album. Osamseason and his album Osamseason, this one was overall good. I like this style of like rage rap music, the rage hop, hip hop, whatever. I don't even know what this genre is called, to be honest. Like the Playboi Carti aesthetic. It's good. I like the style, so I think he did a good job. And there's bangers on it, so it was good. It wasn't like great, because I think the production overtakes sometimes, like it's overwhelming. But if you like the sound, it's a good album. Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler the Creator. It's good. It wasn't one of his best. I personally enjoyed another album that I'll be talking about sooner on this tier list, but it was, it did the job. It was cool. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but it never like shocked me. There was never like a, damn, like rewind that. Like there was none of that really on this album. It was just more, yeah, like sugar on my tongue. Yeah, like whatever. It's his sound. It's cool. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Classic. In my opinion, this was the best album I checked out on the album review challenge. There's only one other album that I would compete with this, and that's really biased pick for me. But we'll talk about that later. Songs in the Key of Life, it's just prodigy at its work. It's genius at its work. It's just so effortless for Stevie, and this album solidified, in my opinion, his GOAT status. It made everybody being like, damn, Stevie really is just like he was meant for this shit. Like, no pun intended, but he can see what other people couldn't with soul and R&B and pop, like the fusion. One of the best genre fusion albums ever. Some people probably said this is just like R&B and soul, but to me, this is genre bending. This is genre fusion stuff. So good. Then we have Alfredo 2 by Freddie Gibbs, An Alchemist. This shit was trash. This sounded like the first Alfredo album, just the songs that didn't get released on the first one with a little bit more Japanese movie aesthetic. And to me, that's pretty boring. That's pretty uninspiring. It, like, the things that go for music in terms of like challenging my views or challenging my sound palette and things I want, like, I don't want to hear the same shit, basically. So this album sounded like the old shit, so I was just like, oh, no, I'm good. I don't care about Freddie Gibbs' trap, drug dealing history and putting it with movie aesthetics and like flexing the whole time. Like, to me, this is boring. This style of music is early 2000s. If you're not an early 2000s rapper, you're not gonna get as much leeway from me when I hear this from you, and especially when you do it at a average level. You've already proved to me that you could do this, so why are you doing it again? Like, this album was so bad in my opinion. Next we have At Long Last ASAP. I love At Long Last ASAP. Jesus Christ, that's a tongue twister. Damn, I'm surprised. A$AP Rocky is one of my favorite rappers of all time. He's up there with the Kanyes and the Tupacs for me. Those are the other three. Like, if I had a Mount Rushmore, which I guess this is a different video, but I'm just gonna say it, A$AP Rocky would be on one of the heads for Mount Rushmore for me, because his style, his sound palette, and this album is what he'd been doing on the previous two projects, whether it was on his mixtape or his first debut. This was him perfecting it. Like, that's the reason why he hasn't gone back to this sound, because he's already showed people that the cloud rap, acid rap aesthetic, he perfected it and he did an amazing job. And this album had bangers: Juicebox Joints, Canal Street, Holy Ghost, LSD. Like, he even went into like singing, and it was fire. Like, everybody loves that song. So At Long Last A$AP, one of the best in my opinion. Next we have Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Controversial take. It's good. It's overall pretty good. Iron Man and Paranoid to me are the standalones. Oh, and War Pigs. Those three. Actually, now that I remember that song, it's overall, it's damn, I'm surprised. It's a great album now that I think of it, because while I do like the B side of the record, the songs that aren't as memorable, they do fit the Sabbath aesthetic and make the album complete. I'm not gonna say it's classic, even though, like, through the passing of time, it's been deemed a classic, since it's probably like one of the biggest heavy metal records albums. But the three standalone, it's pretty short. I feel like, they didn't really experiment as much, and when they did, it wasn't as like impactful as the heavier stuff. But maybe I should just give them classic for the pioneer. But no, I'm sticking with Damn, I'm Surprised. I think they did a great job. Next we have Channel Orange, and to me, what the hell? Why can't I move? Okay. To me, this is the better of the Frank Ocean tracks. This is the better of the Frank Ocean albums. Yes, I'm a Channel Orange guy more than a Blonde guy. I like more of the sunny, upbeat aesthetic, and he switches to dark stuff like on Crack Rock and Pyramids. Then he goes back to like, more spacey stuff with Pink Matter. It's just, he dipped and dabbled in a lot of things. And I have a controversial take, which it's not controversial, but I think it's a underrated opinion. I think Frank Ocean's biggest inspiration was Stevie Wonder. When I hear Channel Orange and Songs in the Key of Life, to me they seem like they come from the same like headspace. Like references, influences, and kind of like being inspired to like deliver a project at this type of like quality, like control. It feels like that. It feels like Frank was as in depth with the note making and the music theory and the sampling of this record, like the way Stevie is with his albums. And I don't know if Frank Ocean's a big fan of Stevie Wonder. I have no idea. I'm only really, you could say the only correlation I'm making is that they both like the color orange, but it's a really good, like, you could see Frank Ocean is a child of Stevie Wonder in my opinion. He is grandson or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, Channel Orange, classic. It's almost, it should be up tier with them. You know what? Fuck it, it is up there. I love that album. The only thing that is bad about the album is the songs that are really short, like Fertilizer, for example, or Sierra Leone, are short. Like, that's my only problem with the record, is that the songs that are good weren't long enough. So that's a good problem to have, in my opinion. Next, we have Exodus by Bob Marley. The greatest reggae album of all time one of, if not number one. I want to put it in classic, and I'm going to. I'm a Bob Marley guy. I love Bob Marley's music, and I get told time and time again, I don't see it, but a lot of people say, like, oh, you look like Bob Marley. It's, in a joking kind of way. But this album was my first introduction to him, and it just made me a fan of reggae right away. It's so chill. So, Waiting in Vain is my favorite Bob Marley album track, and it's on this album, so I can't disrespect my childhood by putting it anywhere but classic. If you haven't heard any of these albums, you guys should go check them out, by the way, and make sure to check out my 30-day album video challenge and the shorts I did for every single review. I'll put it in the corner where you guys can click the playlist. Next, we have Dirty Sprite 2 by Future. Overall good. It's one of the greatest trap records, if not the greatest trap record in my opinion. There's just a lot of fat on it. They should have trimmed a lot of the songs. This is when trap music starts to be quantity over quality, in my opinion. Like, I feel like if they reduced this album to just the bangers, oh my god, imagine just the bangers on this album. When you first heard it, just back to back to back. Eventually, you probably wouldn't think some songs are bangers because they came just off of a different banger. But there's so many great tracks. Fuck Up Some Commas, Real Sisters, my favorite Future record being Percocet Stripper Joint, the Drake song, Thought It Was a Drought with the meme, Stick Talk, it's just Where You're At. That's the Drake song, Where You At. Diamond, no, that wasn't on this album. Diamond's Dance, it was on What a Time to Be Alive. But anyways, this is when Future took it to the next level. Like, before that, the mixtapes and the early Future days, Future Hendrix days, potential, but he took it to the next level with this one. But there's just a lot of fat. There's a lot of songs that were like catchy, maybe the first little like chorus, like hop in a new whip like I'm a slave master, like that could have been, just, I don't know, like a single or some unreleased stuff. Like, I didn't really mess with that song other than for like the hook. Next we have All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. Overall good. I know George Harrison is my favorite Beatle, if you guys didn't know that. I think he's the best Beatle. But there's a lot of fat on this album too. It was a double album, so there's a lot of songs that are just like, this is the George Harrison aesthetic, but I don't think it needed to be this long. Like, the songs that are on this album that are really good, and I mean really good, like My Sweet Lord. Like, these are classic songs for sure on this album. Just too many songs. So, yeah. Next we have IGOR by Tyler, the Creator, and this is what I was talking about earlier by saying like the better Tyler record other than Don't Tap the Glass. This to me is Damn I'm Surprised. I had heard IGOR prior to this record, prior to this challenge, and to me it wasn't, first listen at least, was it really groundbreaking. I was like, okay, it's Tyler with a new persona, I still like Flower Boy better. But then when I listened to this time, and I caught certain things and how it's more of a story of IGOR and his love life and things like this, and I was like, oh, I need to watch breakdown videos of this because I'm putting pieces together, but I'm not getting the whole picture. Then I went and did some research. I watched some YouTubers and, they broke it down and explained the story to better detail. And I was like, oh, yeah, never mind. This is great. I would have caught the details later on if the more I spent with the album. But because I was doing a challenge, obviously I had a lot more records to get to. So I couldn't just like hone in on it. But when I did catch the references and when I was watching videos, damn, Tyler, he hasn't made a better album since this album came out. Chromacopia, Call Me When You Get Lost, Don't Tap the Glass. I don't know if I'm forgetting one. I don't know. But those records after that just haven't lived up to Igor in my opinion. Igor is his peak. Flower Boy was showing that he can make great stuff, and then Igor was like, damn, okay. But I'm not here to talk about Tyler's career. Thames' album, Potential to Grow. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, this isn't really what I'm kind of expecting. Like, people overhyped Thames in my opinion. I think she is a great Afrobeats artist. It just was not as like effort in my opinion. Like, she was showing that she has potential, like, when she was singing. But there were times where I felt like, why didn't you take it to the next level? Why didn't you like really push your vocal like power? Like, why did you keep it at this monotone? Like, it was very capped in her like vocal range. Like, she did not leave her frequencies. She just stayed there. And I was like, no, you need to, just push it up there a little bit. So yeah, it just wasn't, potential to grow. I will say some songs have grown on me since it, but not the whole album. Next, we have Selected Ambience Works by Aphex Twin. This was a damn I'm surprised of any of them. I was kind of hesitant to get into this style of music, the IDM, intelligent dance music kind of stuff. I thought it was just going to be a lot of chaoticness and not really getting anywhere, just kind of feeling like, what am I listening to? But while I was listening to it, I played a video game, and I don't play video games. I'm not a video game person, but for some reason, this album just made me want to do something. So I was like, you know what, just put it on some random adventure game. I think I was playing like Legend of Zelda or something like that. And I've never played Legend of Zelda, so it was a first time experience for both things. And I was like, wow, like I get it. Like this is electronic video game music, but it's like good. Like it was groundbreaking in my opinion. It definitely made me go back and check out some other Aphex Twin albums. If by Mindless Self-Indulgence, not for me. It's very chaotic. This was what Aphex Twin I thought was gonna be like in terms of like the chaoticness of not really getting the style. This was that. This was synth pop, just all over the place, just screaming at you, drums loud and bots and boom. Like it was just like oh my god, I'm gonna get a seizure kind of feeling. And yeah, it still hasn't grown on me. It's just like, ooh, I want to put it in don't listen. You know what? Fuck it, because I haven't. I've tried and listened to some of the song, and I still don't really. I still don't get it. Bowling for Soup, the Great Burrito Extortion Case. And as bad as that record sounds, yes, that's the real name of this album. It's going in don't listen. Too much nostalgic. It literally feels like 2000s rom-com high school like movies, ABC Family shit, but super corny. Some Tubi movies. If you guys ever seen the Tubi movies and how bad they are in terms of the acting, that's how this album sounds in terms of like their memory of high school and the memory of like early 2000s like pop punk. I don't know. It just was too cheesy for me. The jokes weren't funny. They were just kind of like, bro, I get it that you're trying to add humor, but this just sounds cringy. And maybe this is me looking at it in 2025 mind, and maybe back then it was seen as more of a, quality, but it does not live up to time. Like, time has not done this album good. Then we have Sun's Tirade by Isaiah Rashad. Overall, really good. It's not damn I'm surprised because I was familiar with this album prior to this challenge, and I was a fan. I like this album. It's nothing groundbreaking in terms of like there's no how you say it? There's no peak. It's more of like a smooth ride, you know, kind of like the nice paved road, but it's really you're just going straight the whole time, and maybe the environment is kind of nice, and you know there's little mountains here and there, little grassy fields. I'm kind of explaining the aesthetic of the album completely wrong because that's not the aesthetic. But in terms of like the journey from start to finish, it's very smooth. There's no hiccups. There's no like bad songs, but there isn't also a song where you're like, damn, I'm like, oh, he did his thing. You know, it's more of like, damn, okay, I fuck with that one. Put that on playlist. You know, when we chilling, put the song kind of like this is a song. This is an album that you can't go wrong with, but you also are not gonna make anybody like respect your opinion. I guess it's one of those. It's like there's nothing. It's safe. It's a safe record. That's a good way to explain it. Who Really Cares by TV Girl. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Who Really Cares by TV Girl is the next one. Potential to Grow. I felt like I was in a therapy session the whole time, but there were songs that I enjoyed. There was a vibe that I felt there that I was like, oh, I like this. Like Cigarettes, Out the Window. That was my favorite song. It's a good album. Just no no exceptionalism. You know, it was another safe one. It just there were some things that didn't really connect with me, so that's why it's not in the overall good. Even though the songs that were good were really good, just there's a lot of fat, I guess you could say. Rose in the Dark by Cleo Sol. This is a damn I'm surprised. I've never heard of Cleo Sol before this album challenge, and I was thoroughly impressed. Like, she did an amazing job, classic on classic, and so many great singing moments. This is what I felt like Tens should have done in terms of her vocal execution. Not necessarily style of music, but in terms of like trying, like really giving it your all. I feel like Cleo did it on this album, and the production is just really good on that neo soul style. I think she is the one that's going to be carrying the flag for neo soul. She's going to bring that style into the mainstream for a lot of people who are stuck in this like, I don't want to listen to rap, but nothing else is really like resonating with me. I think a lot of people will resonate with her style at least. So I like this album. Then we have The New Abnormal by The Strokes. To me, this is the best album of the 2020 so far. There hasn't been a better album than this. The style of indie rock, The Strokes still got it. Like, they haven't released a project in a long time prior to this record. So when it came out and I was listening to it, I was a fan. I like pretty much almost every song. And even the artwork. They got a Basquiat painting. Basquiat, the best painter of all time? Like, yeah, come on now. There's nothing wrong with this album. Even the music videos are pretty cool. On another note, we have Clips' record, Let God Sort 'Em Out. I have gone on record saying I did not like this album. It is the same idea of like, you've already proven to me that you could do this style of music in terms of like the drug dealing references. Yes, they might have got personal a little bit on like certain records on the album that are like talking about their parents and, you know, family dynamics and stuff like that. But to me, the drug dealing references has to stop. Like, we get it. You guys used to move coke, but like it's boring. Like, we've heard it already. Just move on. I'm not a fan of this. The production, cool. It's cool Pharrell beats, but like, come on. Like, do you guys? What I want to know is when the Clips go into like the studio to make this record, are they thinking like, oh, this is some new shit? Like, what are they thinking? They're like, oh, like, I'm about to score another 20-point game. That's what it feels like. It feels like when Kobe or Mike or, you know, a legend in the game, you know, maybe not Kobe, or maybe like a Tracy McGrady or something. Someone from the old 2000s era. They go out and they score 25 points. It's a good game. Yeah, they did a good job. And that's tough. But are we impressed when you've had 30, 40, 50, 60, 80-point games? At this point, we're just like, okay, you did what you always do. So what? And, you know, that's how I kind of felt. So that's why I'm not in this, though. If I'm going to listen to a Clips record, I'm going to go listen to their older records. I'm not going to listen to this. Now we have To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn, I'm surprised. It's not my favorite Kendrick record. I teeter between Damn and Good Kid, Mad City, but I will say this album has grown on me for where it was prior. When it came out, I was in high school, and I remember at the time I had a hot take. This was a big lunchtime argument. I was saying Migos Culture 1, if you guys remember that record, it's the banger. That record was better than TPAB in terms of their genres. Like, in terms of the conscious rap, I didn't feel like TPAB was that groundbreaking. It was just Kendrick doing what Kendrick does, in my opinion. It wasn't anything exceptional from him. And Culture 1 to me was one of the greatest trap records I've ever heard. So to me, judging it, I don't think it's fair to say something that is like average for Kendrick should be deemed as like better than something that is exceptional for a different genre. Like, if somebody said this was a trap record, nobody would say this was a great trap record because it doesn't have any of the trap elements. So it's not fair to judge them. But people were asking me, and I'm like, yeah, I like Culture 1 better. But I will say it has grown on me. The songs have resonated, the message has seeped in deeper, and you learn a lot while listening to this record, and I love the production. The production I like listening to this album, just the instrumentals is a great time. So yeah, it's great. Now we have The Queen Is Dead by the Smiths. This is overall a good record. Has great songs, has classic songs even, but there are some things missing. I think the indie rock style kind of gets stale at times. We're just kind of like, oh, okay, like you kind of are like using the same formula, just that maybe the lyrics it's just not as good as your other examples on the record. So it just was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the songs I do like, but there are songs I'm just never gonna check again. And I don't like the way they ended this record. The way they ended it with the big titty girls or whatever the name of the record was, I didn't like that. Like, that should have even been a part. They should have just ended it with There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. Finish it with that, it would be way up on my list. Now we have Currents by Tame Impala. This is a classic. This is a perfect late night drive record. In my opinion, that's how I reviewed the record. And I think it's one of the best neo-psychedelic rock, psych pop, whatever genre you want to call it. There's so many genre names out there. It's hard to classify things nowadays. Maybe that's just the internet and all that. But regardless, Tame Impala, Kevin Parker, phenomenal job. The synths are amazing. There's no better example of an instrument standing out on a record than the synths on this record. If you look up any of these other records, I can't tell you an instrument that stands out more than the way the synths do on Tame Impala's Currents record. So with that being alone, actually there is one, but I haven't graded it yet. But we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, classic. Swag by Justin Bieber. Overall good. I haven't heard a Justin Bieber record in a long time, and he surprised me. There was a lot more soulful records. The only thing that was really pissing me off about it was the whole Drewski Black and Miles skit. Why did that need to be a part of? Come on now. So get that out of here. Now we have Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. This is a damn I'm surprised. This is one of the best jazz albums of all time, but to me, I don't know how to judge jazz records. I judge it by the environment I listen to it, the situation I'm in, the environment, kind of things. It's hard to kind of just critically, analyze it for me. I don't know what to really look for other than the vibe it creates. And the vibe it creates is foundational. It's so old that a lot of these records prior or post the record coming out have already kind of deciphered and used its influence so much that I've seen where it can go. I've seen the influence, but it's hard to judge the starting point. You know what I mean? It's just kind of okay, it's groundbreaking, influential, impactful. Yes, 100%. It meets all the requirements to be in the classic, but to me, it hasn't lived with me long enough. I'm not of that time, so it's hard to. I should really make its own category for I don't know what to judge, but it is what it is. Next, we have Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And if you guys didn't watch the review, to me, it's not only the greatest hip-hop record of all time, not only the greatest Kanye West album of all time, but it is one of the greatest albums of all time. Yep, it has everything I look for in music. It has new styles, it has peaks, it has proving that you could do your old style but just as good as it was back then now. It has messaging, it has good chorus, it has good singing, it has experimentation, it has great like features. It's just everything done well, and it has nostalgia. To me, it was one of the first albums I heard from start to finish. It was one of the first ones when I first got my own personal laptop. I didn't have to worry about sharing it with nobody. I didn't have to worry about giving it to anybody at the time that they needed it, and I just sat and listened to it. I remember watching the film, and I was like, damn, Kanye is trying to prove a point. Like, he's trying to prove to everybody that the Taylor Swift shit, like, that's just a little scruff on his report card, but he's still a straight A student. Like, he's still top notch. He's still one of the greatest rappers of all time, one of the greatest artists of all time on this album. To me, I could never understand how somebody gives this a 6 out of 10. I was one of those kids that was on the Anthony Fantano channel when he posted that video back then. And I was like, bro, you need to go redo this. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. A 6? Like, what are you been listening to if you think this is a 6 out of 10? Like, I was one of those trolls. I didn't do anything like really crazy. I just like couldn't believe that. But to this day, I still don't believe it. And last but not least, we had Larry June and the Alchemist's project. I don't know why, but Alchemist has a hard time, working with. Well, I hate to say that because the production is really good, but like for some reason his albums and the people he chooses to work with, it stops me from putting him in that like top echelons of producers, for me at least. Like, he produces great tracks, just the artists just don't do what they need to do. Like on this album with Larry June, the flexing and like the lifestyle aesthetic that he's trying to prove to everybody about like how he's a boss, it's kind of like Rick Ross in a sense, but like very West Coast like, and it just doesn't match the production in my opinion. Like, maybe it's just Larry June's style of rapping. Like, the flow is so nonchalant to the point where it doesn't sound like he even cares about the audience listening. It sounds like he's making it for himself, which I guess you should, but I don't know. Like, it's just weird. Like, I took my girl out to the Bay because we from the Bay. I flew her out to New York and we flew back the same day. And it was just kind of like, so what? Like, why are you telling me this? I don't care. What? Like, I get people flex on records, but like, Jesus Christ. Like, this record, yeah, it's a harsh album to end this tier list on, but hey, that's just how the randomization goes. That's just how life goes sometimes. So this is my tier list. You guys let me know what albums should be higher or lower, or what you agree upon, what you guys don't agree on. And if you guys haven't checked out any of the like full reviews on the playlist of the 30-day album shorts challenge, I'll put that in the description. I'll put the actual 30-day album video in the description, so go check that out. They're really great videos, really great editing. I'm sure anybody who's music fans will enjoy it, all the little Easter eggs and everything. But this was actually really fun. I can't wait to do another challenge like this. If you guys think I should do a tier list for some other things music related, put it in the comment section down below, and make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know what you guys think about this tier list.